Hello everyone, how's it going? I am WoWcrendor, and welcome to another episode of World of Crendor, number 9 to be exact, where you submit questions to me at worldofcrendor@gmail.com, and I will answer them, and you will listen for some reason. I wouldn't listen to me. Well, technically I do listen to me, so you're smart. You're a smart person for listening to me. I don't know, let's move on. Question number 1. Hey Crendor, I've played World of Warcraft since Burning Crusade and loved it ever since. However, one thing I always hear people complain about is the graphics of the game. Personally, I do not believe the graphics make a video game, i.e. Minecraft, but most people are convinced that WoWs are too cartoony and outdated. What are your thoughts on Blizzard implementing a new engine for WoW, or WoW 2 ever comes out? From Silver Star. Unfortunately, that is not the name I was born with, so you can call me Chris. The problem with people whining about graphics so much is they really don't matter. Well, let's explain. Graphics are like second tier type thing. Like, people really want good graphics. Maybe it's because they've grown up in the graphical era where like all these companies are just like, we must have good graphics in video games, and like people more older grew up in like with Super Nintendo and stuff, where like WoW, when I like first started playing WoW, I was like, oh, this is so cool, because you like compare it to what you know. So like I knew Super Nintendo growing up and Nintendo 64, and then you like get to the PC stuff and it's just like, wow, this looks so much better. But some people are just like, WoW looks so bad. But granted, that's some people. There's still like younger people that are like, I like WoW graphics, that's cool. But WoW graphics are kind of different from a lot of other things because it's more of a unique style. It's almost like an art, a different art form, even like a comic book, or a, maybe not a comic book, but like it's different, and it's like you said, it's more cartoony. And I think that fits well with it, because if you play any of the like Warcraft games or like see any of that, that's what they kind of are anyway. So I think that's what they were really aiming for, is like that art style of like cartoony. And I think the graphics could use a slight tweaking, like maybe like what they did with the environments, like how they did the new light thing, like that's cool. Or maybe they probably need to update the character models. Not like an amazing amount, but just like make them less blocky, because they did upgrade or update like a lot of the environments. So I think with the new expansion, one of their goals, maybe not right when it comes out, but one of their goals should be to update the character models, at least somewhat. But I think WoW's graphics are fine, and graphics should be on the second tier of stuff, because gameplay is what matters, and you can see that from Minecraft, for example. Like you said, Minecraft has like Nintendo 64 type graphics, and it is extremely popular because it is a very basic and simple yet genius idea of like letting people pretty much play Legos in this like PC world. Like, you can build whatever you want and it's awesome. And a lot of people tend to forget about that gameplay matters more than graphics. Okay. Next question. I'm a huge psychology fanboy, and I'm trying to explain what influences a person to simply get up and quit a task after devoting a huge chunk of their time towards it and never achieving their goals. I've experienced this phenomenon with probably close to 15 games. After a few years of constant hard work, most people just quit WoW altogether. I think that when a player picks up a game that has a ton of content, the player sets very high dreams and constantly strives towards those dreams. In WoW, my dream was to reach max level, become fully geared, be the best in my class, and have many achievements and be widely appreciated on the server. I leveled to max level and had all the fun in the world. Once I reached max level, the gear grind began. I worked very hard and long and was one of the best. Well, then came the achievement grind. Around this time, everything shifted. WoW was more than work than it was fun. I hadn't advanced socially, I put into perspective and I realized... I put it into perspective and then realized that I worked my ass off for no appreciation. My dream eventually started to die. A few months later, I completely quit playing because I concluded that WoW progresses at a rate that prevents players from finishing the game, and even if I come close to finishing it, I probably would not leave much of a footprint when all's said and done. With that said, last weekend I picked up my copy of Gears of War 3, and now the vicious cycle repeats itself. I will play the game for months, work hard, achieve nothing worth achieving, and eventually quit. Anyway, I was simply wondering, why do you think people quit games after unbelievable devotions? Is there any way that the cycle could be prevented? I am also a big fan of psychology. Marketing is like 90% psychology, which is probably why I like marketing so much. And the point, all these games do this now, is like with achievements. All the games put achievements into their games. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that Xbox and PlayStation and Minecraft and everything now has achievements in it, and it's because your brain is made to want to have a sense of fulfillment and importance and achievement. And even if it's like collecting 10 blades of grass from a field, like that's still achieving something. That's still in your mind. You have worked You have worked to achieve a goal. That's the whole point. You have, even if it's like the stupidest thing ever, you still did it. So if you had an achievement, like right now, here's a flashlight. If I had an achievement that says turn the flashlight on, be like, I did it! Yay, I did it! And that would just be a fake sense of achievement, and you'd feel important. And that's what all these games are pretty much taking advantage of. They're pretty much using your brain to make money, using your psychology, what's the word? The psychological build of your brain to make money, because they know that if you want to, because they know your brain wants a sense of fulfillment and achievement, and that's one of the reasons people can get addicted to video games as well. And even without the achievements there, it can still be addicting. Like in vanilla WoW, you might want your epic mount really badly because nobody really had epic mounts. You could say, "Oh, I want this epic mount," and you farm gold for it for like 2 months, and then you finally get it, and you're just like, "Yeah, I did it," because you achieved it. It's like an achievement that wasn't actually there, and now they're just like, they're showing you achievements you can do. Like, that's the one thing, is in the past, there were still achievements, they just didn't tell you you got it. It was like all in your mind. So, we're getting deep here. But, your question was, why do people quit games after unbelievable devotions? Well, even if you devote a bunch of your time to something, your brain doesn't really care. It's just, your brain is just still trying to get that sense of achievement. And if it gets it from video games, that's great. If it gets it from somewhere else, that's great too, unless that thing is not good for you, or unhealthy, or illegal, then that is bad. But the only way you can really prevent the cycle of this from happening is knowing that it's happening. Like, you literally have to just know that it's happening. Like, if you get an achievement in WoW to go collect 200 coffee cups, and you'll get a title of the coffee cup collector. You literally have to know in your mind, like, this is an achievement. This is trying to use the psychological build of my brain to make me play this video game, and I don't need to do this. I could go exercise and get the same sense of achievement. And you have to just be self-aware, because a lot of people that get addicted to these types of things are just not self-aware, and they let it control them without even knowing it's happening. So, we could talk about this for a long time, but that's everything in a nutshell. Okay. Now time for the LoL question. Greetings, Crendor. I recently started playing Ranked, and I made sure to learn 2 champions of every role so that I can fulfill whatever role we happen to be missing in a team composition, even if one is banned. I'm quickly finding that I'm playing support, jungler, or a tank every game though. At first, I thought this was because everybody wanted to play carries, but then I realized my friend cannot branch out into other roles because he only has 2 rune pages. I can only be so versatile because I bought the rune page bundle. You might be able to fill 3 or 4 roles with 2 rune pages, but any more is really a stretch. I think that 1 more rune page would do a lot to alleviate this. I feel that we should have a 3rd rune page completely free of charge in order to encourage newer players to take more roles. It's already hard enough getting all the runes and the champions themselves. Another 6,300 on a rune page is enough to dissuade people from playing anything but carry champions for a very long time. I realize that Riot's marketing team, for lack of a better term, won't be too happy about this, but new players such as myself are struggling to adapt to this competitive ranked environment once they reach level 30. Even myself, who purchases the champions themselves and rune pages with RP. What is your opinion on this extra free rune page? Rock Pops. The problem that you would run in with this is people still wouldn't want to tank or play support or the other thing, jungle, and they just want to play carries. They would probably just make another page for carries. They'd probably have like AD carry, AP carry, and like a mix or something. Because people generally want to be the people doing the damage because they're like, I'm doing the most to benefit the team! Which isn't true, because usually the people that play support and jungle and tank do just as much as the people that are the damage. And people just always like to be the damage dealers, or they like to be, even in sports, they like to be the quarterback, they like to be the people that score goals, they like to be the guy that scores the most points, even though there might be a guy in sports that plays like amazing defense and like saves your team like every game from the other team scoring points, but nobody really acknowledges them because they're like, this person scored a bunch of points. So you just have to be the person that's like, you know what, I will play support, I will jungle, I will tank, and I will learn to be really good at it so that I can win. And of course, a lot of times you won't win, but you could feel good knowing that you're not stupid like the rest of the people that are like, I only play Katarina and Caitlyn, and you can know that you can branch out into other things. And it might help if they added another rune page, but if the problem is still the people don't want to be they consider those those roles to be like the 2nd tier roles. Like, I want to be damage, and then I'll be support, jungle, tank. Like, if you get into a ranked game and somebody's last, they'll usually have to play like the tank or support, and then they're like, why do I have to do that? And they're like, you're last, you pick. But I mean, that's really the problem. It's not going to change it if they had another rune page. People will just be like, I'm still not playing those roles. At least in my opinion, that's what would happen. Okay? Okay. Now the first random question. Hey, this question is for your random section. I was curious to know how you get the flying video for all your World of Crendor videos. Do you take the 2 tape and flyers? What? I think you left out a word there. Or is there some stock footage you have? Sincerely, Broken Straw. Well, I will do one of 2 things. I will either fly around myself, or I will take a flight path and just zoom in, which is the easier way. And I've been doing that the past 2 weeks, but I don't know if you can notice or not. Some people are just like, oh my god! But whatever. I'll fly around myself this video just to make everyone happy, okay? Okay. And the final question. Hey Crendor, me and my friend feel like making WoW videos together, but we're kinda nervous for some reason. When you started making videos, what did you think people would say when you published your video? Tom. Well, that's a reason a lot of people don't put up videos, is because they're afraid of what people will say. And you're nervous because you don't want to be judged. You don't want to put up your video that you put time and effort into and people to go there and say like, this sucks, why are you doing this, you suck, don't ever make videos again. Because that will make you feel bad, and you don't want to feel bad. So, you can't care what people say. Like, if you enjoy doing something, you just need to do it. Because life is too short to care what people think. And I used to be someone that cared a lot about what people think. I still kind of do, which is bad. But I'm trying to get over that hump. And I used to be extremely shy. Like in school, I would never raise my hand. I would be very nervous and shy. Probably social anxiety would be a good word, but going on YouTube and actually doing all this actually brought me out of my shell, I guess you would say. And it developed my personality, really, and I kind of found out who I am, which is, I don't think it's that hard to figure out now, but you need to not care what people will say about you, because it really doesn't matter. Like, if somebody told me, your videos suck, I'm like, cool, okay, like, that's your opinion, don't watch them again, goodbye. And people, the problem a lot of people have is you could get a bunch of good comments, and then there's one person that's just like, you suck. And we tend to just focus on that comment and ignore, like, everything else, and you have to be like, you have to just block. You have to do the opposite. You have to ignore the negative comments and be like, hey, here's a good comment. That's awesome. But don't take that with... You have to also realize criticism. There's a difference between haters and trolls and people that are actually giving you criticism. Like, if your video has like 70 likes and like 40 dislikes, you're probably doing something wrong. And you should probably reanalyze yourself and say like, hey, what could I do better? What could I improve on? And just keep improving. Like, you have to set those types of, quote, fake achievements and achieve them. Like, say, hey, in this video, I didn't do that well at voice acting. I didn't do that well at commentating. I didn't do that well at editing. I'm going to improve, and then see if my like-dislike ratio improves. And you just have to keep doing that. As for what people would say when I published my first video, I think I got a lot of like, this person has a lisp, this person sounds weird, your voice makes my ears bleed, and I was just like, oh my god, like I wasn't used to all this. And then I'd like ask my friends, I'm like, do I have a lisp? And they're like, a little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, like I was like blown away. I was like figuring out things I never knew before, and I don't know, after a while your skin does thicken, so it's whatever. But you can't care what people will say on your video. Like, don't use that as a reason to not upload videos, because you might be really good at making videos and you're just being held back by what other people think, which is not good. Don't care what other people think, okay? Okay. And that's it for this episode of World of Crendor. If you have a question, you can submit that question to worldofcrendor@gmail.com, and it may get answered. And if you submit it anywhere else, it won't get answered, because I only read worldofcrendor@gmail.com. So yeah. Okay? Okay. There you go.